is a secret. I know you like to keep it clean. No prying eyes to keep you honest. What do you hide when you hide with me? If you think you're clever, then you've never weathered anyone like me. I've been training all my life. Guess your number's out right. Cause when she calls mine, I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, Chris.
Those pretty eyes, are you scared now? You can't erase all the things you've
Good evening.
Do you like my shows and all my monsters? Now you're my latest favorite thing. Do you wanna play misbehave? Say the ways you plan to hurt me, abuse and drain me dry. Now you wanna know if you'll make it out alive. Nah, I'm not gonna lie. Don't you want my affection? I thought you said you were mine. Won't you join my collection? La 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 la, you'll be fine. Oops. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna.
All right. Ooh-ah. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's having a lovely Thursday so far. Hope everyone's having a good week. I am your host, Phantom NJ, and welcome to the TTRPG Theater. Hey, so good to see you. Hope you're doing well. How's it going, Brad? Yay. And my voice seems to be cutting out on me because I apparently have not been drinking enough water. Thought I had, but I guess not. So we're going to try to do something about that. Ooh, ah. Yeah, the fancy water. Hey there, bud. How's it going? I'd happily drink Poland Spring, but I don't know. For some reason, it's been needed for some reason lately. I've been able to taste the difference, and it's not been the most pleasant of things. So, yeah, I'm drinking the fancy water. What the hell? Plus, I like that they have my local place carries the 1.5 liters. Sometimes the Poland Spring, I can only get the 1 liter, and I go through those too quickly. Ugh. That's not fun. Hopefully, you get home, things will smell better there. Oh, man. Oh, no, they're painting 2 apartments that you're building. Oh, God. Going to... Okay, when you say just left work, that makes me think you, left a physical location. Well, oh, man, as if it's not one thing, it's another, huh? Oh yeah, no. My mouth has been like really, really, really dry. It's been kind of weird. Yep, that 5 feet from my work desk to my personal desk is about it. Uh huh. Uh huh. My dog decided not to join me until after I from upstairs to downstairs until I had already moved from my work desk to my personal desk. So, and now he's happily sleeping in the corner. Oh God! You had to invoke the Pulaski Skyway. Eee. Oh man, yeah, that thing is a nightmare. Been a nightmare all my entire life, and I'm just thankful that I don't have to worry about driving that for any reason anymore. I have no reason. If I find myself on a Pulaski Skyway, something has gone truly and terribly wrong. All right, let me put you that way. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, probably should get around to doing something tonight, huh? Uh, I was kind of like, it's Thursday, really? It doesn't help that my day today was like full of meetings, so my brain is complete and utter mush. So that's fun. You know, and of course there's the old joke about every meeting could probably have been an email. In this case, really kind of not true in this case, but I'm gonna complain anyway because what the hell? Oh man. By the way, when is the next time you're planning on being up in Jersey? Anytime soon? Ever? What's the story? Actually, it occurs to me that I'm not even sure where you are at this point. Uh, you are still down in. You know what really sucks? Actually, it's probably a good thing that it wasn't able to happen because I don't know if I was going to be able to do. Um, you're not cleared for flying yet. All right. Uh, uh, I was supposed to have been down for in Atlanta for work in September, but because of an issue with my leg, it wasn't going to be comfortable at all for me to be down there. The thing is finally it's finally on its way to healing, but even back then it was still kind of questionable. And would have been in Atlanta for 5 days. I would have tried to have found a way to get. If I had remembered that you were there and found you before then, I probably would have. See, yeah, no, I understand that. Um, yeah, growing older sucks. It really does. But it is what it is. So all I know is I'll be down in the Philly area in January and then in Wisconsin in March. Well, as far as those of us who are left, yes. Our dear departed friend, I believe, was younger than you. Oh yeah, I mean, Brad, if you're going to be there, uh, come hell or high water, I'm going to find a way to be there. I don't care. If I basically have to patch myself together to get there. Yeah. Hey, listen. If you want to put together a mini and place her eight on in March, that'd be awesome. Speaking of which, I do need to put in my games for Gary Con at some point. It's just so weird that it's like I'm putting in games that are part of a convention that are part of my campaign. 5 months in advance, 6 months in advance, or 5 months in advance, or whatever the hell it is. Hey, Fosco, good to see you. We are just kind of getting started. There is a giveaway via Trollord Games, maker of Castle and Crusades, Amazing Adventures, and other fine products. $10 coupon towards any of the digital products from their site. Sir, yeah, because we were too poor to use minis back then. Are you kidding? Oh my goodness. I remember that we used to order, we were in Hoboken and we'd order from Domino's, not because it was good, because Domino's was the crappiest thing called pizza in Hoboken, which had 500 good pizzerias and it had Domino's. But Domino's at the time was the only one that took credit cards because we're freaking old. Oh man. We'd order Chinese food by by the gallons just because it was cheaper to everybody chip in on stuff. Oh, you do have Poor Thank made. Okay. Oh, excellent. Excellent. Cool. Well, wait. Poor Thank is your Friday Night Crusades character. Playing the playing your knight in the thing is one thing, but Poor Thank is not going to be is not part of the same campaign. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's cool to have the miniature made. Sure. Right. 7 star because they only needed 7 instead of 10 from the other place. Excuse me. Can we just borrow those boxes of yours? What? No reason. We just need to cut something out from it. Oh man, the Hoboken days. But yeah, no, that was a time. 13 people, 10, actually no, 10 people sitting around the pool table at the frat house. Usually it's about 7 or 8, but we had up to 10 at various times. I still remember pretty much all the characters too. Um, good times playing some 2E. All right, so what was I doing? You know, I cannot find. I found like various dot matrix crap, including like a character sheet that has no name on it, printed on a dot matrix printer. I cannot find any of my other character sheets or whatever from those days. And I really should like just go through all of my 2 ebooks with a fine comb and hope that like one of the character sheets falls out of them because it's driving me crazy that that's the one thing that I can't find. I've got like all my 2 ebooks, but you know, and I found like file folders and stuff. Hey Jay, good to see you. Let's get a shout out for Jay. We will be rating into J-Stream at the end of this one. We were talking, Poetic Wine 99 is one of my fraternity brothers who played, he was one of the people who played when I was running 2E at the frat house way back in 90 to 92, and we had anywhere between 8 to 10 players playing around a pool table in a frat house. All theater of the mind because we were too damn poor to afford miniatures or anything else. And it never occurred to us to use like random stuff for as markers. So it was all 100% theater of the mind. Because I was apparently as crazy back then as I am now. We could afford dice, yes. Yeah, I've been able to find like random character sheets from that time. The only one that I can't find is the characters that I care about. I've got all my books, and I'm pretty concerned. I'm I should like go through all my 2 ebooks with a fine tooth comb to find out if there's like a character sheet sitting in between any of the pages because it's the only thing that I can't find. The ones that I care about are the only character sheets I can't find. Well, yeah, back then you actually had to write stuff by hand, because printing something out could take about 15 minutes. And that was for just a page of text. First you had to go load the paper. Then you had to make sure that the paper was starting in the correct spot. Oh my goodness. Dot matrix printers. But yeah, those were fun times. Those were fun times. All right, so let's do this. Let's go to presenting page and oh, hey. There we go. So when we last left off, we had actually done a whole bunch of stuff with various adventuring guilds. These were all courtesy of Carlos Lysing's Adventuring Companies 1 and 2 that he had released to his Patreon. These are 4 of the 5 guilds that were officially based in Nyrond. There's another guild that was based in Nyrond, which will not be part of this campaign ever in any way, shape, or form because it's all based around the Deck of Many Things, which... the Deck of Many Things is one of those things where, for a relatively, especially compared to like later editions, to a relatively low magic campaign, the Deck of Many Things is just a good way to ruin your campaign. The only other surefire way to ruin your campaign is to run them through the Tomb of Horrors as written, because you will kill everyone. Every single time I see a DM say, well, I've got a list of adventures I want to use for my campaign, and, Tomb of Horrors is one of them. It's like, no, you don't. Not if you want your players, not unless you want your players to start throwing things at you. Because you can either neuter the Tomb of Horrors, in which case there's absolutely no reason to play it. You can play it as a one-shot, which is, a one-shot that has absolutely no bearing on anything, and it's just for funsies, and, nothing that happens in there, it takes place in a campaign, no deaths, no whatever. And that's the correct way to do it. Do it as a tournament game, do it as a one-shot, whatever. Do not do Tomb of Horrors as part of your campaign. It's not meant to be run that way. It was never meant to be run that way. You ended up playing 2 half-orcs things. Oh, wait. When you say that thing, are you referring to the Deck of Many Things or Tomb of Horrors? Because, yeah, no, I can understand that. The Deck of Many Things is one of those ways when you basically want to totally lose control of your campaign. Ooh. You know something? I don't know that I don't know that I've run across the deck in the temple, but my history with the Temple of Elemental Evil is not the greatest either. As a matter of fact, I think the Friday Night Crusades group is the farthest that I ever got through the Temple of Elemental Evil. And even then, there came a point where I was like, something, we're just done. I was like, I think we've all had about enough of this, and we're going to move on now. Because I know I was done with it. Ooh, hey, Lord Forth, good to see you. So yeah, again, we do have the giveaway, exclamation point ticket to enter. And let's see. So, we started off with the, various adventuring companies. So yes, let's put the, oh yeah, I'm like trying to type or on the, overlay as opposed to the actual Word document, because that makes a lot of sense. So we'll start with this. We'll put this adventuring companies. This section's going to need more work because right now we have the Valorous League of Blindness as far as antagonist groups. Charitable organizations. We'll have to think about that. So among the other things to consider, So far as what do you call it? As far as the other organizations, there's the various knighthoods. I don't know if knighthoods is um, I don't know if that's the proper way to go, calling it knighthood, because that's something. Um, oh, we'll put knighthood for now. So let me go in. I need to go find some documents because I believe the first one that I want to add. There's two of them that I know of, and there's probably more that I hadn't considered. But the first one is, I believe, in Visions of Greyhawk, Volume 1. Valorous Orders might be a way to describe it. I mean, it could also just be orders of knights, but this is written by and I should know how to pronounce his last name if my Polish was any good. Paul Jerzek, or something like that, otherwise known as Arthorn the Cleric, the Knights of the Eventide. So we can start with the Knights of the Eventide. And let's read from the article. The evening ebb tide along Niron's coast exposes wide expanses of pale sandy beach stretching between Nessermouth and Storport at the eastern end of Fairwind Bay. These, along the region's famous white chalk cliffs, gleam in the moonlight and serve nighttime fishermen and moonrakers, otherwise known as smugglers, also alike as a landmark. For this phenomenon, men named the region of the Eventide long ago, when Niron still bent the knee to the Overkings. A minor military order, the Knights of the Eventide, patrol these lands, rescuing imperiled travelers and slaying raiders and monsters. The commander, Sir Tomin Moncaster, lawful good, human male, 9th level fighter, wields Fiend and Bane, a two-handed sword with the properties of a mace of disruption. May call upon a dozen knights and 40 men-at-arms, 5th level and 2nd level fighters respectively. The knights remember their history with pride and seek by valorous deeds to add new luster to old honors. All right, so this doesn't have like a date on it, though it does mention it does go as late as 598. So you know something, I'm going to have the commander still be Sir Tomin Moncaster. There we go. The contemporary knights' forebears served the counts of the Eventide, nobles who bore the obligation to supply Niron's monarchs with heavy cavalry in times of war. When the last count died without an heir in 560 of the Common Year, the comtal title reverted to the crown, which appointed bailiffs to oversee the fief. The old knighthood went into abeyance along with the countship. Early in the Greyhawk Wars, Tomin, the second son of a Renpool squire, reformed the Knights of the Eventide as a company of medium cavalry, equipped with chainmail and shields, wielding spears and swords to fight for the King of Niron. All right, so if he was during the Greyhawk Wars, he's going to be an older man now. That's fine. Uh, Funding the group with wealth he had won adventuring in the West. Younger sons and some daughters of the gentry nobility flocked to the new order. The recruits served with distinctions, suffering heavy casualties, but slaying many foes. Toman Moncaster won a battlefield knighthood at Candrid's Meadow. The coat of arms of the knights is a white bar on a field of blue with fish rampant. The white bar represents the white cliffs that are common on the Eventide coast, with sea below and sky above. When the knights first mustered during the war, their shields did not bear the fish symbol. Some more established knights derided the band as fish knights, referring to their origins from a fishing region, and wearing chainmail that resembled fish scales. The knights adopted the moniker with pride, using the symbol of the pike, a local fish known for its fierceness and sharp bite. After the wars, the knights continued to muster every summer and rode in tourneys, at which they won both many prizes and resentment of certain knights of the realm. They rallied to Illingworth's side during Seward's first coup in 586, and again in 595 when they refused orders from the traitorous new Count of the Eventide, who had been appointed by the king to fill the vacant office in 591, and who may happen to have, maybe reappearing in the current campaign. They are fighting in his name, but no one has seen him yet. And instead took to the field in service of the local Duchess of Woolwich. In 598, they fought in the Battle of Claw Point, helping royal forces and licensed adventurers defeat an undead army created by a priest of Nerul from remains interred in a subterranean necropolis. Well, that's freaking cool. So, as far as hooks, the knights can provide various hooks for adventurers anywhere in the south or southwest of Nairon. Adventurers traveling these lands might encounter knights who need their aid in fighting threats to the kingdom, or might themselves be rescued by knights. And then it gives a bunch of dates for possibilities. Huh. These are some interesting hooks, and I don't know why. Well, I'm trying to figure out why these are specific dates, because none of the Sir Adon. Let me see. Let's do this. So there. That's the. That what do you call it? There's their shield. In case you're wondering. Then, like I said, it gives some hooks based on the year, though none of these hooks, with the exception of the last one, seem to be really related to the date. The last one only is date specific because of the battle it references. The others don't so much. Then it goes into a little bit about if you're playing 5th edition, what the commander's, what his thing should be. As far as the County of the Eventide, I like it is adapted from the Player's Guide to Nairon, because that's kind of what I've been using. It's written by the same author, and it does detail, or at least mostly the same author, and it details a lot of what happened during the Living Greyhawk campaign, which Nairon is one of those locations where the stuff from the Living Greyhawk campaign, in terms of using it for lore and such, is actually quite usable. They didn't go nuts like they did in some of the regions. So, the County of the Eventide spans the coast of Relmore Bay from the town of Nessermouth to the castle of Shining Bright. Inland, windy grassland stretched for miles without villages or farms. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. LG, everyone died. Oh man, some of those regions they just kind of really did them dirty. So where was I? Inland, windy grasslands stretch for miles without villages or farms, as the soil is too poor for much farming. The travelers may encounter scanty herds of sheep, goats, or cattle watched over by a few drovers. Hey, Keith, how you doing? Good to see you, sir. The county's population clusters in villages and towns built by coves and inlets of the coast, with fishing and provisions services for the Navy are the main industries. Keith, thank you so much for the resub. 46 months. Holy cows. It is amazing that you're coming up on 4 years. Wow. Thank you so much. Smuggling isn't established if illicit trade along the coast, and the kingdom's loss of tariff revenue to contraband shipments only worsened after the wars. In addition to trying to police smuggling, the Navy also has to deal with piracy by ships operating out of Primp, who may carry letters of marque which Niron does not recognize, issued by the ruler of Elissa, and High Port in the Pomarge. The situation is further complicated by Niron sanctioned smuggling to support the rebels in Onwal fighting the Scarlet Brotherhood occupation. If you believe in the Scarlet Brotherhood occupation. I haven't decided what I'm doing with that yet, to be honest with you. It's a little too far to think that far. There's enough problem on the northern and eastern borders at the moment. Worrying about what's going on a little bit across the bay is a bit further than I need to worry about at the moment right now. Most mercantile activity occurs in Nessermouth, the county's largest settlement, which handles both trade coming down the Nesser River and from across the sea. Mindful of the devious ways merchants of Nessermouth hid their dealings with smugglers and resisted royal efforts to collect tariffs and duties after the wars, the king placed the new county capital at Shenstedern in order to develop a second port under a local authority appointed directly by him. The people of the coast have a strong Sul heritage, which shows in their typically blonde hair, pale skin, and blue eyes. They tend to be insular and suspicious of strangers, especially ones sticking their noses into locals' business. So notable locations: Nessermouth, Relpool, Shantadern, Sea-Watch, Shining White, Uskarn, Claw Point, and Fairwind Bay. All right. So we do have, so that's one down in terms of knighthoods. I guess we'll call that orders of knights. Or orders of knightdom? I don't know. The other one that I'm aware of is actually by the resident. Well, one of the other resident in terms of more directly active in our community. Though Paul is very active, and he's very active on Cannon Fire. Von Moku, or otherwise Michael Mossberger. And let's see, do I remember where that document is? Let's go find it. So it may be in one of the Greyhawk grimoires, or even in the new Greyhawk journal. Did I remember to move the Greyhawk journal here after I downloaded it? I am not sure. Um, it's a Living Greyhawk journal. No. All right, so let's start with Grey Grimoire 5. No, that's God's Greyhawk. Cult of the Wax of Wow. Iridian Migrations. Nope. That is not it. So let me check my download section. Too many files, and I have not been doing a really good job of organizing things. Greyhawk Journal. This is one of the latest things to come out. Oh, right. So this is, let's see, all about Mage Point, Floating Worlds, Green Slayers. I am not sure where this actual article is. And that's fun. There is so much fan content out there that finding things is. I need to start putting together my own little thing to list where things can be found. You can tell I planned this out really well, right? You know. Tale of Two Adults, Legends of Altamira, Treasures of the Sea Hunters, Kingdoms of Tuve. Nope, that is not it. I'm going to laugh if it's after all this time is actually sitting in the Player's Guide to Niron. And I probably should go there next. Player's Guide to Niron. Factions and organizations. All right. The Old Guard, the Black Guards, the New Guard. We're going to come back to this one because the Circle of the Marsh has already made an appearance. And that's when I decided that there are going to be other circles. Though I did notice that I was going to do like Circle of the Celadon and Circle of the Gamboge, but it looks like the Brotherhood of the Bronze might have that covered, so I might need to reconsider that. Oh, hey, Touch of You. Good to see you. Valorous League of Blindness. All right, so it does not look like they're in here. Not unless there's a different section that they're in and I just completely missed it. Hey, Canadian Ancient Gamer. Good to see you, sir. All right. We are going to have to come back to this for religion, though, because we're going to outline, if not in this particular session, another session, the various churches. And, well, those are really the four that are going to be very, very prominent. How prominent Zilchus is going to be is an interesting question. I did have some fun where a priest of Zilchus was the cause of a quest that sent the Righteous Hands group into the Nat Marsh, basically looking for a trade path through to cut through the Nat Marsh to get to the county of Ernst on the other side. That did not go well. They came across other issues, so there's that. But yeah, so let's go. Let's keep looking through the other ones. We've checked Grimoire 5 and 4. Let's check 3. Work our way backwards. I wish this would keep track of how these things are being opened. The Dwarf Sport of Shield Push. Ooh. Color me intrigued. I'm going to need to take a look at that at some point. But I'm still not seeing the Knights of Narendi. All right. So this is what? This is issue 3. Issue 2. Monks and the Princess, Tunnel Below. Whispers of the Great Empire, Oath of the Scourge of the Sea. Nope. Still, nope. Where is Old Ridge anyway? I need to take a look at that location because that sounds interesting. All right. If it's not this one, then it's the point at which I find out that it's in a different thing altogether, or it was in a different visions and I just failed at checking further. So, Grey Grimoire, issue 1. Old Arity, Hedge Mage. New Circle of the Nine. Treasure Maps of the Flonesse. No. This, my friends, is why you actually plan these things ahead of time and don't just get bright idea in your head and go with it. Specialty Priest of Greyhawk. Ooh, that's articles that I will need to take a look at. But Visions 2 does not have it. So let's check Visions 3. Of course. It is always in the last place you look. The Knights of Nairond. Let's see. So, known internally as the Valorous Knights of Nairond, and formerly as the Lost Companion Soldiers of the Penitent Ferrante and the Citadel of Realm Ward. That's a mouthful. The Knights of Nairond are one of the newest orders to be founded in Flonesse. The order was reestablished in CY 588 by His August Supremacy, King Linward. Hey, Rory, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Can't complain. Dealing with a little bit of dry mouth here, but, powering through it. See you soon, Jay. August Supremacy, King Illenward, to further perpetuate Nairond as one of the strongest bastions of law and good in the Flonesse. And you know something, I think in terms of what I'm going to use, I think Valorous Knights of Nairond is the term that I like most because calling them the Knights of Nyrond is meh. I appreciate that. Oh, and of course, I should bring this back up. Nope, wrong one. So let me move this. And can make space. All right, there we go. So back to the article. The order originated before the time of the Arity expansion and subjugation of Nayron people that began in common year, 110 before the common year, so negative 110, CY negative 110, after the Battle of a fortnight's length ended. The knighthood was not at all like any currently knightly orders in the Flyness, as the honor was mostly given to those who proved themselves worthy in battle, under the observation of the lord of the Nayron clan. It had no real trappings other than a small pennant that was flown on the spear of the knight as they rode into battle on their heavy war horse. Growing up in Nayron, Illenward heard tell of an order of knights that existed long before the Arity conquered Nyrond. He dreamed of them being warriors of great valor and honor who won battles simply by their mere presence on the battlefield. The young king-to-be vowed to his father that when he was crowned king of Nayron, he would create an order that would honor those knights of old. It was one of the first promises he made good on. Illenward wished the order to resemble the Knights of Holy Shielding, and during his preparations to reestablish them, he requested assistance from one person he believed was the greatest embodiment of that order, Lady Katarina Walworth of the Shieldlands. Great deeds, Pat. Great deeds. And, of course, living to be rewarded for those great deeds also helps. Together, Lady Katarina and Illenward consulted with the Grand Maesters of the Royal University to create the emblem they would use. They also drew from several 100-year-old texts the basic tenets of the old knights followed. Learn what they could of the ceremonies they performed, even revive the cries they called out in battle. The ceremony, they used all this to write the decrees of the order, the ceremony performed to award the knighthood, and determine what to look for in a viable candidate, called a candidat. All right. Candidats were selected and rigorously trained for a year. 12 knights were selected from this group and were knighted on the second God's Day of Good month, common year 588, the day the order was believed to have been created. As of common year 591, there are 23 knights in the order. They are led by Sir Valith Alvan, a 10th level paladin, Flan Mail, who hails from the Adri Forest. He is actually not a true knight of Nayron in that he does not have access to all the abilities of the order, but is a paladin of Hyronius from the Bastion of Faith in Realm Mord. Sir Valith was chosen to be and this is interesting that they mentioned the Bastion of Faith, because when we talk about the churches, one of the things we're going to look at is the supplement, which I believe was for 3rd edition, for the Living Greyhawk period, Bastion of Faith, which does heavily, I think it's almost all Hyronius and Hextor. Sir Valith was chosen to be the first leader of the order because of his position in the Temple of Hyronius, and because they needed someone who was both an expert in battle tactics and had previously trained and led others into battle. At some point, if a knight reveals himself worthy, Sir Valith will step down as leader of the order in deference to a true knight. Other notable knights include Sir Clothar Volk, who was instrumental in reestablishing contact with the dwarven clans of the Rakers, and Sir Castile of Realm Mord, who is currently carrying out missions in the name of the king in southern Nyrond. Ooh, okay, so that's someone I need to look at possibly coming in contact with the group since they're mostly based in southern Niron. Interesting. The current mission of the Knights of Niron is to act as the king's eyes in the field. They are sent on errands he deems of great importance, and when not performing those, they are attached to various parts of the Niron military, learning tactics and leadership skills. More importantly, they are there to find others who they believe might be worthy enough to attempt the trials, so yet to become another of the order. Generally, the knights follow the teachings of Hieronymus, but they are not solely restricted to that god. There are followers of Maheen, Dairn, Bahamut, and Pelor amongst the ranks of the penitent. I don't know that I'm going to be having Bahamut as one of the gods, because, yeah, no. Let's stick with pure Greyhawk God, shall we? The order follows the tenets of Hieronymus when it comes to weapons and armor, and if there are conflicts based on the individual gods, the choice is left to the knight how he wishes to follow. Most revert to their god's ideals and do so with the blessing of the order. Their motto. The motto and battle cry of the Knights is Ad Gloriam de Venya, for the glory of the god of Venya, the domain of Hieronymus. The colors are always ultramarine, dark blue, and silver. The emblem they wear is a silver disc embossed with 5 lightning bolts radiating out from the disc center. The 4 smaller lightning bolts represent truth, honor, justice, and strength. The largest represents glory to the king. The king, the realm, and the god Hieronymus and all his allies. The knights celebrate 2 holy days. The first is Valor Night, the last god days of Redireet, and the Day of Just Rebellion, the third God's Day of Cold Even. The days correspond with the holy days celebrated by the clergy of Hieronymus, and their meanings are similar. The knight must always carry a copy of the Book of Penitence, the version penned by the original chronicler of the order, Oswald Sidney of Ryer. Non-worshippers carry it as a symbol of the order, and all will guard it with their lives. And of course, they have the decrees. So this particular knighthood has their specific decrees, the things that they must follow, which is pretty old school. Then there's the Leges Triplum. Interesting. To uphold the tenets of law and order, many gods may be revered. Their differences are to be celebrated and respected. The strength of the Neron shall never be diminished and always defended, no matter the consequences. Those of the lower planes are always to be given no quarter nor parley, and are to be eliminated with all expediency, for they are without law, order, honor, or pity. Apparently there is a secret ceremony for becoming a member. Interesting. I'm going to leave that a secret. Now, here's an interesting one, because they actually have a character class set up for this for 1E2 and Osric, which is basically 1A. I could convert this to Castles and Crusades. The difference being is that this would require somebody to kind of be a Knight of Niron from the beginning, and I'm okay with that. As opposed to one of the other ones where you could possibly become knighted alongside. I suppose. I mean, their leader is a knight. A knight from, but not one of the character classes. So, I might have to take a look at this. I think this could be. One interesting thing here, though, is that they actually get spells at level 4, which is really interesting because that puts them. I'm a little. That actually kind of puts them above paladins in the scheme of things. I mean, I guess the paladins have better abilities, generally speaking. I'd have to take a look what other abilities they have. Hey, Doc, good to see you. They do have Smite Evil, but yeah, you know, I don't know. I'm a little concerned about this because this character class actually looks like Paladin Plus, and I'd have to see whether or not it just basically it just completely outshines the Paladin. Now, granted, a CNC Paladin has some other great stuff to it. I don't know that the spell table is necessary. All right, cool. You know, whenever you can get on. They are doing some traveling. They are the Friday Night Crusades, and please tell me I have this thing working. There we go. And the Discord thing just came up, but I'll do it again. The party in Friday Night Crusades is on the hunt for the first part of an artifact that may help them take down those kill this character off. Calling them Sons of Caius doesn't exactly work because followers of Caius, the cult of Caius, or shall we call it. Yeah, I need to take a look at this to see how this would match up with a straight up Paladin in CNC. I'm a little concerned, but we'll see how that goes. We did not kill your character off. They haven't had combat, Doc. They haven't had combat, I think, in 2 sessions. They've been doing a lot of role playing. Brewfest was especially entertaining. All right, so let's see. So we have we did have a commander here. Commander. Whoop. No, that's not what I wanted. There we go. All right, so Commander, why is that doing that? I just want it to show a single page. Oh, because it's coming up on another page, and instead of just continuing to show just the single page that I want, it decided to put another one on the screen. That's great. Who decided this was like a good idea? There we go. All right. So, Commander. Sir Veloth Alvan. And I forgot to put what Sir Tommen Moncaster is. I'll have to go back and take a look at that. Members of note. Sir Clothar Volk. And Sir Castile of Relmord, which they don't give a full surname for him, which is odd, but that's fine. It may have it. I might have had it somewhere else in there and I forgot. Anyway. All right, so we got our 2 knighthoods. And it is about 7:30, so we're going to get ready to, we're going to save this here for now. It's already saved. Next up, we're going to take a look at the churches. Unless I'm able to find more knighthoods, but I know these 2 in particular. There might be more knighthoods that I've missed in some of the other, I need to go look through the other texts. Hey, Justinius, how are you doing, Greg? What do you call it? Exclamation point ticket to enter the raffle. $10 gift coupon from Trollord Games. Right now, we've got exactly 1 entry. So, if you enter now, your chances of winning are good. And if you don't enter now, Robojack's chances of winning are better than good. All right, I got you, Pat. Excellent. There we go. But like I said, next up, unless I find other knighthoods to go into, the next group that we'll be looking at will be the 4 main churches. We'll probably spend a lot of time on the Church of Heronius, mostly because we do have the Bastions of Faith supplement. And, yeah, but it's going to be Heronius. It'll be Heronius, Palor, Foltus, and Zilchis to a lesser extent. But Zilchis will have a, something, a part to play in all this. But thank you everyone for hanging out, and let me get to a stream ending, and then we will go to do the giveaway, and then what do you call it? We will do a raid. As far as stuff coming up, I don't have anything on the immediate horizon. I think I'm trying to get together an Embers of Empire game for for early December, like the first week of December. And of course, now is a great time for an ad break. Really. But beyond that, I don't have anything else specifically planned. Just the weekly streams. If I can sneak in another game somewhere, I might do it. I'm not sure how that's going to go. I also need to make sure who's going to be available for that game in December. So, we'll see how that goes. But I'm about to close the giveaway. So, closing giveaway, exclamation point ticket to enter in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Closing the giveaway. You got it in right under the gun, Chris, right under the gun. Drawing a winner. Petros, there you go. Man, you never win anything, sir. Oh, boy. All right. But yeah, Brad, I will have to see, because it's going to get really hairy by the time, with Thanksgiving and Christmas on the horizon. But come the new year, we're really, I say this and then I have to plan for the fact that actually one nice thing is GaryCon, I will be like all set for GaryCon long before GaryCon happens. That's one of the things want to do by the time the new year starts. I want to make sure that I have everything I need set up for GaryCon, so that, Paige, I'm not worried about, because Paige is just going to be me traveling. I'm not running any games with Paige. I'm just playing. So it's just me going down, seeing friends, having a good time. Listen, don't worry about it. I've got you, man. And I also want to, make sure that I get some interesting groups together. Because Sir Adon could fit in with there's some other groups that Sir Adon could fit in with. And I wanted to throw some stuff together and see, see what works. But yeah. So like I said, Gary Con, but come the new year, I want to start running games a bit more regularly and, try to get more often, maybe do even some like 3-session, things where it's like 3 weeks in a row. So, while it's not, it's just maybe at a longer adventure where it takes place over a 3-week period. If I can find people who are willing to do that, because those might be for weeknights. Gary Con, I'll have 3 sessions in for Gary Con. I have not submitted them yet because I need to actually think about what I want to do for Gary Con. It's not, once I put something in, I'm like committed to it, and then I need to have the stuff that together that I want to use. But anyway, we're gonna raid Lord Gazumba. Oop. Oh yeah, mapping, absolutely. So Justinius, it's really, for me, it's going to be really easy. My games are Thursday, Friday, and Saturday morning at 9 a.m. That's when they'll be. That's one of the reasons I need to get those in is because I want to make sure that I get my time slots for 9 a.m. so that in by 9, out by 1, then I can go do other things, get lunch, and then hang out with people. I also will be running a Tower of Gygax session at GaryCon. But we are raiding Lord Gazumba. Hang in there for the raid if you could. Yeah, and that's one of the things. It's one of the reasons I'm going down a page, even though I'm not the craziest about it, is because I get to play in one of Jay's games at Page, where GaryCon, like a lot of the people are running things at the same time I am, but I don't want I'd rather run my games in the morning and have my afternoons free to hang out with people than the other way around. All right. We are raiding in, and thank you, everyone. Thanks for the chat, and I will see you next Thursday. Otherwise, see you on the flip side, and get those raid emotes ready, please.
Hey, dude, shit happens all the time. Like I said, there comes Rob.